Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Faloki, and in what seems like kind of a yearly tradition, the Seattle Seahawks 2021 draft class has been graded quite poorly by NFL analysts. Now this is nothing new. The Seattle Seahawks have always kind of been a poorly graded team every single draft class, but sometimes we deserve it. Last year we didn't have the greatest of draft classes. Of course, Jordan Brooks, he turned out to be a lot better than a lot of people thought. Darrell Taylor, he didn't play. Damian Lewis was a very, very great pickup in my opinion. But at the time, people were still downing that draft class. And the year before, we took LJ Collier in the first round, didn't play in his rookie year, didn't seem that great. We did get DK Metcalf though, so we've always had reasons to be a poorly graded draft class from NFL analysts, but this year I really don't think the reasons stack up too heavily, and we still were pretty poorly rated. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some of the grades that NFL analysts had for our draft class, and then I'm going to give my reasoning to why I believe that they're partially wrong, if not completely wrong. Now, first things first, we're going to be talking about what we actually were graded, and there is an absolutely amazing graph or chart or something made by Renee Bugner, I hope I said that right, where it took 18 evaluations and they turned them into a GPA. And on this list, the Seattle Seahawks had the second worst draft overall when you take into account all 18 NFL analysts, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't think we were the worst draft class by any means. Of course, the Texans are way down there. The Texans are a horrible organization. Don't know what they're doing. But if you look at every single analyst's grade on the Seattle Seahawks 2021 draft class, the highest grade the Seahawks got was a B. Everything was B or lower, all the way down to a D-. And that leads the Seahawks to have a GPA of under 2.0. That's not even passing. So obviously the Seahawks had to do something wrong, right? Now, other than passing on Creed Humphrey, I would relatively understand a B grade. Because if you're just looking at the three people we picked, of course, we only had 3 draft picks, so that's not that great of a draft to begin with, no matter who you take. But we got some really good players, so I think that a B would be very fair, But if we're taking into account UDFAs, which I'm not sure if these people are or are not, I would 100% give the Seahawks anywhere from an A- to an A, because one, of course, I would still not take Dwayne Eskridge over Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey was one of the best center prospects in this draft class, and not getting him really hurt, but every single day, the more and more I see of Dwayne Eskridge, and the more and more I hear about what he could do for the Seahawks going into next season, the more and more I like the pick, because he's going to be a real gadget guy. Having someone that's quick, small, can run the jet sweep, maybe we don't really need a center that bad if we're going to be doing some fancy, more dynamic, more diverse play calling going to the outside, because the center, obviously very important, but if we're doing a jet sweep, the center really doesn't matter too much in that play. So something like that, where we're going to be using our players a lot more dynamically, it would make sense that we would take a player that can be more dynamic rather than a center. However, every other pick I think was really, really good. Like I said, that I'd give Dwayne Eskridge a B-, probably a B, because I still really like the pick. It's just the fact that we passed on Creed Humphrey. But at our second pick, we took Tre Brown, a really good gritty corner that's going to be like a DJ Reed on the other side of DJ Reed, and we have a lot of really good corners, so basically our corner group is very talented. We just need a vet to get them all in check, and I think that was a really good pick to kind of continue to build up and get a lot more talent at the corner position. So if players don't play up to their potential, we can put in some more other younger players that can possibly play up to their potential. With our last pick of the draft, my God, did I grade him way too low in my post-draft kind of grades? I said that Stone Forsythe was a B pick. Now, I think that Stone Forsythe, this B pick, was way too dependent on the fact that I've heard a lot of problems about his run blocking. Not really problems, but more questions. Because, he seems like a very good pass blocker, and he played left tackle. We'll need a left tackle whenever Dwayne Brown decides to retire, and maybe even Stone could fill in for Brandon Shell if he actually ends up being better. And, Stone Forsythe, I gave him way too low of a grade when I did my kind of draft grades, player grades individually on the Day 3 recap. I gave him a B, and that was mainly because of the questions about his run blocking. But honestly, there's really not too much else that's that bad about him. He can obviously pass block. He seemed like a really good pass blocker. He was a guy that was projected to go way higher than the 6th round, so it's a huge steal that we got him. The dude's 6'8". He is absolutely humongo bungo. He is 307 pounds, but he looks really in shape. The dude moves really well. He seems strong from his bench press. Like, the dude looks really good, and the only question he has about him really is his run blocking, and I don't think that that's that big of a question to, put him down. Especially since he's going to be learning from Dwayne Brown. So his run blocking is obviously going to get better. So for me saying that he was a B pick, I completely take that back. I think he's an A. He's not an A+ for me because obviously the question's about run blocking, but other than that, he looks really, really good. An absolute steal to get him. I give him an A now that I've kind of switched up. So taking just from those 3 picks, if you take a B, around an A, and then another guaranteed A, maybe an A+, that's at least a B+, A- draft class. Now, that's not even talking about UDFAs, because one of the biggest things that we did in this draft class was make up for our lack of picks with great undrafted free agent pickups. Now, of course, we have the 2 pickups that everyone's already excited for, everyone really liked already, Tamorrion Terry and Cade Johnson. Both of those look really good. They weren't even supposed to slip out of the draft, let alone the 5th round in most mock drafts, so those are already 2 very, very good pickups. And I mean, Cade Johnson, he could be the next Tyler Lockett. He doesn't really have the speed, but he has the route running, he has the catching ability. He can definitely be really, really good. But we also got some other really interesting guys in the UDFA market. Now, some other pretty interesting guys in the UDFA market that we ended up picking up are Pierre-Olivier Eskridge. He is the center from the Canadian League. We also got Brian Mills, the corner. He looks really good. And, you know, we have 2 running backs that can possibly come in, have some potential to actually make the team. And then someone that I think is really interesting is Greg Elam. Now, the guy, he has to suck to be going undrafted. 6 foot, 330 pounds. That is an absolute insane build. So those 3 guys, the corner, Brian Mills, we also have Greg Elam, and then we have, my God, don't know how to say his name, Pierre-Olivier Eskridge. I really think that both of those guys could actually be really, really solid guys that the Seahawks have brought in that can have a very good potential of actually making the team and possibly having an important role in the team coming in the next few years if they can prove themselves. So from those things alone, only having 3 draft picks and still making the most out of those draft picks to get 3 guys that can come in, have a guaranteed year 2 impact, if not a year 1 impact, because Dwayne Eskridge probably will. We'll probably have Tre Brown having a year 1 impact, and more likely than not, we'll probably have Stone Forsythe being a year 1 impact, if not a year 2 starter. So we definitely got some really good guys from those 3 draft picks, but the UDFAs that we got, Cade Johnson, Tamorrion Terry, the center from Canada, Brian Mills looks pretty solid, and we also have that other huge 6'8", 330 pound behemoth humongo bungo man. We have some really good pickups. So all of these draft analysts and NFL analysts saying that the Seahawks didn't even pass. They got a D-, they got a C. I mean, B is the best grade we got, and I think that we did really, really good. So personally, I'd give us an A, A- if you're taking into account UDFAs, but if you're not taking account UDFAs, and just from our 3 picks, I give us a B+. I think that passing on Creed Humphrey really makes our first pick kind of negligible. I would say a B, B- for that pick, just because we passed on Creed Humphrey, not because Dwayne Eskridge is a bad player at all. But our other 2 picks, Tre Brown looks like he could definitely make an impact, be a really good guy. He looks really gritty, he looks athletic, he will not back down from a challenge. And Stone Forsythe, my God, the man's huge. So I would 100% give the Seahawks a B+ in the draft if you're not taking into account UDFAs, and an A- at the very least with UDFAs. I think the Seahawks did really good. I don't understand why NFL analysts hate us every single year. I kind of do for previous years, but this year, I think the Seahawks did really well with 3 picks, and getting a B as our best grade and having a bunch of different analysts grading our draft as a D, D-, or somewhere in the low C range is just kind of wrong in my opinion. I believe the Seahawks did really well. Of course, I'm biased about that, but let me know down below in the comments what you thought about this draft class. Now, I definitely think that we could have done better first pick because I wanted Creed Humphrey, but Dwayne Eskridge, he's growing on me. I really like him. The gadget capabilities that he'll have, the kind of interesting dynamic that we'll be able to add to our offense because of having him. I love Tre Brown. I love Stone Forsythe. Our UDFAs are really good, but let me know down below in the comments what you think. Like I said, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.